Well, hey there, YouTube. AG Ender coming to you again here, and we're going to expand on the how-to series just a little bit. I've done some other pours today already, as you can see, but we're going to use wood molds today, and I got a couple basic shapes already routed out. Here's the router. It's a little bit big for what I'm doing. I should probably have one of the Dremel-sized routers. Those would come in a whole lot more handy, especially for smaller design, but this is what I've got, so I make it work. As you can see, I've got a circle drawn out there. This might get a little loud, so headphone wearers, beware. Go ahead, I'll give you a moment to turn things down. But I'm going to fire up the router and get this round one done here, as you can see. Just show you that real quick. Wood is fairly inexpensive, and you can do quite a bit with it. It does use up quite a bit of silver, so beware on that when you're trying to pour into it. The pieces can come out anywhere from 2 to 5 or 6 ounces, or even bigger, depending on what you're doing. 5 to 6 is what I max out at right now with my setup, but someone else out there I've seen do as high as 10 or 12 ounces, so there's definitely quite a bit that can be done. But let's get this routed out real quick, show you how it looks pre-pour. Now, the first step with this is you just get your basic shape done. Peel away some of these little strands that come out. Then you can do a little more detail work and go a little bit slower so you can get the rest of it done. So, hold tight. Headphone users, turn down. Here we go. Still a couple more spots to get here, so let me get those real quick. So there we go with the round. I'll get some silver ready to go and get to pouring and show you a couple of those here in the wood. So I'll be right back. All right, the silver's about ready to pour here. I've got more than enough to fill this mold. Especially with wood, you want to make sure maybe you have a little bit more. You can always short pour and then remelt what's in the dish. The second pour, you're always going to get a little bit more, and if you do a third pour, more yet, because the silver is going to burn that wood and you're going to get the effect underneath, but you're going to have deeper mold that you're pouring into. So let's get this first one going. It's not all melted here in the dish, but I know I have enough to make this pour. So we'll go ahead and do this. I might be running out of fuel in this canister of MAPP gas, so let's go ahead and do this real quick. Like I said, I was short there, or had extra silver in the mold, but as you see, it's going to flare up quite a bit. You're going to want to let that burn down. Once it does, you drop it in the water. And some people like that first pour. I myself don't. So I pour it a second time, and usually I can get a nice smooth finish on this top side. Makes it a lot easier to stamp on. So we'll come back in a moment for the second pour. Okay, here we go for the rectangle bar pour. Now each of these will take a little bit extra silver each time, so we'll come to that when we get there, but let's get this one done. Here we go. As you see, it will burn for quite a while. Give it a minute or two it takes to burn down. You make sure, of course, you got the water to drop pieces into, but that you got a fire extinguisher nearby as well. Yeah, so you just kind of sit and wait and relax. and wait for it to cool off. Since you want to let it burn the wood down, you don't want to dump it in the water right away. You don't want to try and blow it out and push around silver. So you just kind of want to take your time, be patient. It will cool. As you can see there, you can see some of the cooling start to happen. It's not quite all glowing anymore. The heat, the flames will keep the edges almost molten, especially on the second pour, because you've kind of got an insulating barrier around each piece. But we will come back. I'll show you the next pour, what I do for that. I just pulled them out of the water. Here's the triangle. It actually turned out pretty smooth. Sometimes they do on that first pour. Other times you get the silver still bubbling up, especially with moisture in the wood. But you don't get that real, some people call it kind of like gator skin effect from the charred out wood. But so you have to pour it a second time to really get the silver to sink down into those grooves that happen when the wood burns. You also get spots like this, just air bubbles that form inside and can't get out because the silver starts to harden. So you get an air bubble there instead of it boiling out. And you also sometimes get bits of flux here on top. And that all breaks off, and you can either polish it off, tumble it off, or throw it in either vinegar or something a little stronger, muriatic acid, if you don't mind working with that. So we'll get these melted and ready to go for the second pour. I'll see you in a moment. Now we've got the silver melting. I did go ahead and stamp this one, weigh it, 1.88 troy ounces there for this triangle. We'll get some polish on that, show you how that looks at the end, and be right back for the pour of the bar. Silver's ready to pour. And here we go. And then tap it off and wait. This, like I said before, this does take a couple minutes, so you just kind of let it sit there and smoke away. And again, make sure you're ventilated. I've got the window open and the door open, so there's a little airflow through here. So we will come right back and show you how the bar turns out. So here's how this one turned out. 2.93 ounces. I actually forgot the 0.999 stamp. So make sure you get it in a spot where it's not going to move on you. And stamp away. So there we go. This one, as you can see, also has a little bit of a dimple in it, but it will polish up just fine, be nice and smooth. Throw a little polish on those, come right back to show you how they look. Here's the back side where the wood burns out. So I'll see you in a moment and wrap things up, and that'll do it. So here we go. Got a little bit of polish on them, nice and shiny now. Usually this side doesn't necessarily need the polish. It comes out pretty shiny looking. If you want to polish it up, go for it. Like I said before, I'm going to run these through the tumbler here tonight. I don't have it here with me right now, but I will do that here in a little while. But there we go. Hopefully that, once again, helps at least somebody out. At least for how I do it. Again, these are just tips. Don't have to do it my way. If you got a better way, go for it. Or if you got something you think that's a better way, feel free to mention it down below. And I could convert or adjust how I do what I do and make what you do part of how I do it. You never know. Everybody here, we all kind of collaborate and give our opinions, and we all make up our own way of doing it with kind of a mishmash of everybody's style. So that will do it. Thank you all for stopping by. I will catch you all next time. Likes, shares, comments, subscriptions are all greatly appreciated. AG Ender signing off. Have a good night.